You know, the right wing and the Fox News Channel have done a good job over the years of defining me, almost essentially creating a fictional character called Michael Moore. I started with Roger Me because I was hoping to do something to save my hometown. That didn't happen. It's in worse shape than ever. School shootings continue, as you said. We're in the 5th year of this war. You know, I mean, you could make a case that Michael Moore is fairly ineffectual in terms of using his art to affect change.
There was actually one place on American soil that had free universal health care.
Which way to Guantanamo Bay?
Detainees representing a threat to our national security are given access to top-notch medical facilities.
Permission to enter. I have 3 9/11 rescue workers. They just want some medical attention, the same kind that the evildoers are getting. Hello?
It should never be controversial for citizens in a free society to travel freely 90 miles from its own shores. I mean, really, when you step back and think about that, when they dig up this tape, 30, 40, 50 years from now, they'll look at it and they'll go, geez, it was like a big deal. And they lived in a free democracy, and yet its own citizens couldn't travel wherever they wanted. When the audience sees the movie, if you see it with an audience, they don't focus on that. They're moved by so much of the other stuff, and if anything, they're happy about what the Cubans did for the 9/11 rescue workers. They're grateful for that. It's kind of a manufactured controversy in the press in terms of them wanting to, and essentially initiated by the Bush administration by going after me. I would like to go back and show the movie there to the Cuban people. Yeah, and I will. I'm not going to pay any attention to these people in the Bush administration. These are criminals. Criminals investigating me? Sorry. Seriously. I mean, really. The only investigation that needs to take place is of them. Right. They lied to drag us into a war that now has cost us 3,500 lives of our people.
It's 14 in the past 48 hours.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, geez, I haven't even seen the news today. Do you ever wonder sometimes that perhaps some of this opposition to the war isn't really anti-war, but it's more like, oh, geez, we're losing. I don't want to lose.
I don't want to see those depressing pictures of
Yeah,
dead people.
I want victory. Get out. Let's get out of there. I don't know. Sometimes I wonder.
You want Paris Hilton. Against the wall.
Yes. And I often think, and maybe this is just my Catholic upbringing, but I often feel like a failure. I spend all this time trying to, get people to pay attention, to maybe do something, and I take it out a lot on myself. I say, maybe you're not doing it the right way. Maybe you're not reaching enough people, and maybe you need to think about doing it a little differently. And I'll tell you, a lot of thought went into that before this film.
4 healthcare lobbyists for every member of Congress. Here's what it costs to buy these men, and this woman, this guy, and this guy. And the United States slipped to 37 in healthcare around the world, just slightly ahead of Slovenia.
What really happened is that we said okay to debating delay, and then after we said okay, he said he had to have his own digital copy of the movie. He wouldn't come to a screening or whatever. He had to actually own in his hands a digital copy of the movie. Well, no movie studio is going to give a digital copy of a movie to a felon.
Right.
I'd like to debate some of the Democrats on this issue, because they're pussyfooting around this thing, and they're not really taking the stand that the American people want them to take, and we're going to be there to make sure they do take a stand and do the right thing once they're in office. I've not endorsed a candidate and have no intention to do so anytime in the near future. I want to wait and see what they have to say and what their plans are. There is one candidate that I wish would get into the race because I think it'd be good for
Don't say Ralph Nader.
the discussion. Please. Al Gore. I hope that he decides to run. Well, you just uttered a phrase there that is like physically impossible.
What's that?
The Republicans winning the next election. That's like saying the sun won't come up tomorrow morning. To quote the great Zbigniew Brzezinski on Bill Maher 2 months ago, when asked about the next year's election, he said, the Republicans will be wiped out.
So you don't think there's any way that the Democrats can screw it up as they have screwed up in the past?
We all know that the Democrats know exactly how to screw everything up.
Yeah.
So of course there's a way, just as there's a way for the sun not to come up tomorrow morning.
It's like the Red Sox.
Yeah. Well, exactly. Who's the guy that the ground ball went between his?
Buckner.
Bill Buckner. Sorry, I didn't know that, but
That's okay.
you guys up here.
We're trying to forget it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, but you never forget them, right?
Got to bring it up.
Yeah, I know. I didn't mean to bring it
Talk
up.
to these people about it.
Are you?